Perfect.
Pretty good. And we are live.
8 o'clock.
We are live. Folks, ladies and gentlemen, children of all ages, we welcome you to Last Give Podcast. To my left, I've got Ace. And to my right, I've got Flash. These two guys, they are excited to bring you guys one of the newest podcasts in the Penalty Talk family of networks, as I like to call it. I'm excited to have both these guys. It's going to be a great show tonight. You know, I'm not sure how much time we got left because the little comment thing is... Okay, yeah, we got a minute left. So, by all means, Flash, Ace, y'all, the floor is y'all's. Introduce yourselves.
What's up, y'all? Thank you for coming out to the Last Give Podcast. I am Flash. I've worked on the Run and Gun podcast a few times, and that over there is Ace, and we are happy to announce this amazing show and amazing content we will be bringing to you tonight. All right? Just to let you know, we are going to cover mainly the NFL, the NBA, the NHL, and college sports overall, all right? Not just college football, college sports, period.
Ace,
So,
Yeah, man, it's going to be a great experience, I think, for everybody, including the audience. We're going to make it a lot of fun, a lot of information coming out to y'all. It's going to be very detailed analysis, all the sorts of stuff you're going to have. We're going to even have predictions, everything like that throughout the football season, both NFL and college football. We're going to keep you up to date with off-season for the NHL and NBA, and you're going to come with us, and we're going to have a great ride.
Also, folks,
y'all, I'm just there's going to be some flare-ups in this show as well, so just be ready for that. Just going to be a few flare-ups.
Also, folks, as well, too, stay tuned. The Run and Gun Podcast will be back. A few changes, but it's going to be back. Stay tuned. Enjoy the show. And we are now into the first quarter of the show. So, this is y'all's show. I'm just here in the middle of it. I don't know how I got in the middle, but
All right.
You are here to help us out.
First segment. So,
what we kicking off with?
All right, for the first segment, we have
officially kicking off, ladies and gentlemen.
We have Nick Chubb getting his 3-year contract with the Cleveland Browns. He's going to get $20 million guaranteed, and you'll be able to re-sign a new deal at the age of 28 and be able to go free agent at age 29. It will be pretty good, I think, for Cleveland. They will be able to. They're going to have their star running back locked up for the next 3 years. He gets his money guaranteed, which is big for running backs these days. But he's not committed long term if he wants to re-up. And they're going to have a great backfield duo with Kareem Hunt, I believe, who just re-signed actually this offseason as a restricted free agent, if I'm not mistaken. And so they're going to have one of the better running back duos in the NFL with a great offense already, with one of the top offensive lines, I should say, in the NFL last season, with Baker Mayfield having another year to improve. And you have a healthy Odell coming back. So, and AFC North, watch out. Cleveland Browns are coming.
Hey, I agree with that. Also, too,
I like the signing.
Hold on one sec, Flash. Folks, if those that are watching, please feel free to comment, leave your thoughts. But, Flash, go ahead.
I like the signing. We've seen Nick Chubb what he has done to the Steelers in that last year playoff. I mean, it shows for himself with the amount of yardage he has. He and Kareem Hunt, nice backfield duo that they got back there. I like it where they're going. I like where the Browns are going. I think they'll make noise. It's a great signing. I'm looking forward to them and looking forward to seeing them.
I will say I do like the I do like the Nick Chubb signing because it keeps that tandem in Cleveland, and it worked so well last year when Chubb was out, Kareem Hunt took off, and then when Kareem Hunt was out, Chubb took wow. Well, you know what I mean. Vice versa, the backfield was very different, and I do think that's a key piece in them competing for the AFC North. I know Ravens fans don't want to hear that, and I know Steelers fans don't want to hear that because Cleveland's been known as that team that's been down for such a long time. Time to face back.
Steelers fans are in shambles right now. Let's be honest, they're already in shambles.
Jordan, to extend on what Jordan was saying, the ability to have two really good running backs is big because if you look at what happened, the downfall of Pittsburgh last year, they had no offensive line or running backs. No offense, James Conner, who was banged up. I believe he had an ankle injury. He had some form of ankle sprain that he suffered earlier. And with that, they had no running game, and teams figured out that after the Washington football team game that they had, that if they just stack the box and just stop, because they know there's no run coming, they could just play press up on coverage, that there's going to take away the passing game. There's going to be no play action, and that ultimately suffered with Pittsburgh, and that's how Cleveland was able to just sham shock them in that first game in the playoffs. When you look at Baltimore, they have Lamar dealing with COVID injuries. I think both Rashad Bateman and another receiver had some form of injury during camp practice today or yesterday, and they haven't been able to get a full practice and yet so far during training camp with all the guys. So Cleveland's got the opportunities right there for them.
That's true. So what else we got though here? We got Aaron Rodgers. I know Aaron Rodgers got a new deal established. So I mean, what's going on with A-Rod?
So yeah, with Rodgers' situation, I know that they have that he's able to become a free agent this season. At the end of this season, that's how he wanted it. He was able to get management to trade for, at his request, Randall Cobb out of Houston, and with that, they're gonna have this. Packers fans are calling it almost like a last dance because they know this may be the last time they have Aaron Rodgers, and they're just hoping that throughout the season, if they win a Super Bowl, all could be forgiven. But this, I think, with him, it's been just going on for more than it's been brewing for over time. And with that, I think that Rodgers, he's going to have to put all his options on the table next season. And he's going to try to be like Brady and like say, I'm going to end it on my terms. I'm not going to let you decide.
I can understand that. I mean, I think, no Packers quarterback has done more than 16 seasons in the uniform, and Aaron Rodgers is going to do one extra in Brett Favre and Art Starr, but I think he's going to leave.
J Peeps,
what's up?
Was there any Packers actually retired Packers in recent time?
Say that again.
Any Packers quarterback that actually retired with the Packers in recent time?
I believe Bart Starr did, but that was a long time ago. But, I mean, outside of that, it's really been the guys that have been the franchise faces. It's really been Bart Starr, Brett Favre, and Aaron Rodgers. And we all know Brett Favre didn't retire as a Packer. He said he'd always be a Packer. He didn't retire as a Packer. So, I mean,
open your eyes, ladies and gentlemen. That's what I'm going to say. Open your eyes. Look at the Packers organization. I think Aaron Rodgers has foreshadowed that when they drafted Jordan Love instead of drafting him a wide receiver. And as we know, there's many people who believe that Aaron Rodgers is probably one of the greatest quarterbacks of all time in the Tom Brady debate. Even though he doesn't have as much rings to show for it, he is just as elite of a quarterback. And everyone has agreed with that.
J Peeps, I'm gonna to throw the challenge flag.
For that. Let me go ahead and mute him.
Just said.
Let me go ahead and mute him.
Wait, hold on. How many challenges do we get?
All right, he's been muted. You have the floor. This is your only challenge for the half. Go ahead. He's just talking. He doesn't realize he's been muted.
All right. So, for what he just said about the Packers not drafting a receiver in the first round and taking Jordan Love. Drafting a receiver in the first round doesn't always guarantee you that it's going to make your team better. You look at Laquan Treadwell, for example. Look how that turned out for Minnesota. But if you also listen to what Aaron Rodgers said during that press conference this week, I believe it was, or last week, just after the situation was resolved, he said this has been brewing over time, how they treated the exits of Casey Hayward, Charles Woodson, Micah Hyde, Jordy Nelson, even Randall Cobb, like 2 years ago. They haven't been giving their best players the respect that they deserve, and that's also why it's been brewing over time. And in Jordan Love's situation probably was just the nail in the coffin, or if you want to even look to this year with the NFC Championship game. That's what I'm saying. It's not just that first round pick. This has been brewing over time, and Aaron Rodgers said enough is enough, and I'm going to do it how I want it.
Oh, okay. Step on. Flash, the floor is yours. You are back. Tell us how you feel, Flash.
Oh man, I am officially back. I mean, how I feel. We've seen how the Buccaneers dismantled the Packers' offense in that NFC Championship game. So I mean, that's definitely some frustration, along with some exits of some key players in past times. I mean, Green Bay Packers have not been the same team since they went up to that NFC Championship versus Seattle.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And then even this past year, they have struggled against good defensive teams like the Buccaneers, the 49ers. I mean, it shows of that. So, I mean, Aaron Rodgers has obviously got to be frustrated.
Yeah, well, even look at last year's regular season. They lost to the Indianapolis Colts, who I actually want to talk about. Had some big injuries come up in the last like 4 days with Carson Wentz and their All-Pro left guard, Quentin Nelson. Both of them have broken bones in their foot and will have to be required surgery.
Yeah,
Frank Wright was on the Frank Wright coming off of COVID. He was saying how the bone with Carson Wentz, it wasn't exactly his fault. He's had this issue since high school, and it just became loose during now, so it was like a ticking time bomb with him. But with Quentin Nelson, he said on the Pat McAfee show today, he was going over it. He said that this has been a thing since like his early childhood or even birth. So now that they both had surgery within the last week, they should be in the same timetable. 5 weeks should put them right around the week 1. So it's going to be interesting with the Colts. I know they were good last season with Philip Rivers to an extent, even though Philip Rivers, his arm died down over time. But they did beat the Packers. If people remember that was an overtime win, I believe, for them. So they're not no slouches. They have a good team. It's just they're going to have to overcome the losses of their 2 forefronts in their offensive line and quarterback for their foreseeable future for right now. Hopefully they have their 3-headed monster at running back to help carry the load. What's your thoughts, guys?
I mean, honestly, as with a minute left, I'm going to keep this short and sweet. I mean, I'm going to just say this about Carson Wentz. You know, you can't make a club in the tub. Carson Wentz has already proven his unreliability to the Colts. And I think this is something Frank Wright needs to be prepared for. Because, look, it says 5 to 12 weeks. The middleman would honestly say, maybe like 8 weeks, 8 to 10 weeks. That's still too long, so I would bring in Nick Foles. I know Nick Foles is saying he's focused on being where he is right now, but I feel like a trade is imminent for Nick Foles to come in and once again save the day for Carson Wentz. So, I mean, Colts fans, be prepared. I feel like it's coming. So, Flash.
I mean, I'll be honest. Yeah, I do think that the Colts, I mean, they're going to be a great team whatsoever. I mean, they have some great running backs and some great pieces all around, and they have a great defense. They're going to be back this year. I do think they will have to make a trade for a quarterback, but that system is great for any quarterback to slip in and just do his job. That's all the job requires to be quarterback of the Indianapolis Colts. Just throw the ball well and just hand it off to your running backs. That's really what you got to do. Doesn't get more simpler than that. It's a very simple system for them.
All right.
For any quarterback to get into.
2 seconds. Who?
Oh yeah, one more thing. That Giants practice.
Best competitions.
Yeah, that Giants practice got ugly. What
the Giants practice? Oh boy,
What?
Kelvin Benjamin may have been onto something.
Oh yeah,
It was saying Joe
Bro.
Judge was mad.
we just watched that movie the other night when Coach Herman
Herb Brooks.
was just saying again, Herb Brooks. He was just saying again, having him run 100. They were running their butts off and everything, man. That was so funny.
But we are now on to the NHL. So I'm seeing this thing about Lightning reloading. What's that about?
I got cut off.
What's this whole thing about the Lightning reloading? I'm going to ask Flash this. What's that about? Because he got the Lightning jersey on.
Okay.
No, I'm asking Flash.
Well, for the Lightning, actually,
I'm asking Flash.
they lost some good pieces. Oh, you asking Flash? All right, let's see what Flash knows about the Lightning. We have this Lightning, let's test him.
All right, so I mean, honestly, Lightning has gotten some good pieces, but in some trades and stuff, I think they'll be a solid team. I forgot some names, unfortunately, but I did like some pieces that they did pick up. I think it was like Chicago or one of those teams. No, it's not Chicago. Sheesh.
They traded Tower Johnson to Chicago. That's what you're thinking. They got long-term IR cap relief with Brent Seabrook.
Okay.
Yeah, it was that was a solid trade, but
so they've.
I'm just salty about the Yanni Gord leaving to Seattle Kraken. You know, they could have put any other guys, but they picked Yanni Gord. Man, like, come on.
It's gonna be.
Yeah, Tampa pretty much lost their entire third line. You don't often see that in the NHL. They lost Goodrow, Coleman, and Coleman, and Gord all throughout the last, like, within a week. They traded Mitchell Stevens. That's for the, how do you say this guy's name? Pierre-Edouard Bellemare. He came out from Colorado. He signed a 2-year deal. Vasilevsky got a backup, Brian Elliott. He helped run the team for St. Louis when they won the Cup in 2019 with Jordan Binnington. You lost Savard. He went to Montreal, but that was a trade deadline rental, more or less. So they got guys like Cal Fook ready to come in for a big familiar name or a familiar face that Lightning fans will remember. Zach Bogosian.
Wait, trade
back.
Deadline replacement. Wait, what'd you say? Trade deadline what?
What?
Trade deadline rental.
Trade deadline rental? Golly, so he like rent a player? Like a rent a car or something?
Well, yeah, NHL, they have guys. I get what you're saying. I was just saying, like, they just got him for the run this year, even though they knew he was a free agent.
I can understand that. So yeah, let's talk about this little.
While we was talking about.
Talk about this scandal thing. This scandal
cut out.
Let's talk about this little scandal extravaganza with the Blackhawks and the Canadiens.
Well, with the Blackhawks, this is stemming since 2010. The recent allegations from the former players that there was a serious sexual assault committed by the video coach. You could get this from two reporters from The Athletic that broke this story. That they were saying how the video coach sexually assaulted one of the players, and the entire organization knew about this during their cup run, and the players brought it up to management and to the ownership, but there was nothing done about it until recently, where one of the players filed a lawsuit against them. And how this relates to the Canadiens, it's that the GM of the Canadiens, Mark Bergevin, he was the director of player personnel during Chicago Blackhawks team, and when he was asked about that whole situation, he said he didn't know anything about it. But then here he goes and he signs off on the drafting of Logan Mailloux with the 31st overall pick in the draft last week, and he had serious allegations where he had a intimate moment with a woman in on his when he was playing over in Sweden, and he took a picture without her consent, and he showed his entire team, and all she wanted was a legitimate apology because it ruined her life, but he never gave that, and he has told franchises, all 32 franchises, to not draft him in the upcoming draft so he can work on his charity. So with that, I want to give you all your thoughts on both those situations, given the context.
Look, I mean, that whole thing is just wild. That's all I could say. That whole thing is just wild. It's messy. And that, oh my gosh. Flash, what you got?
This is wild period. I mean, apologize, you said? Did you say that correctly, Ace? You did not apologize?
What? He did
This man,
give
he did not
a
apologize.
brief apology. He did give a brief apology to the woman, but it was not even what you would say sincere or heartfelt, where he would write like a whole thing. He just wrote a couple words and said he was sorry or whatever, but she's like, you could tell it wasn't complete. I don't want to say like insincere, but it wasn't
shameful.
like,
Shameful.
Yeah, that's wild.
That
yeah,
is
this is
straight
the whole
shame,
thing with the
man.
NHL right now. Both situations was
This
shameful.
is this is an issue
But with
NHL
that, like,
has to
even looking
deal
now,
with as quickly as they can.
franchise,
Actually, you
they
wanted
need to deal
something?
with that, but say
That's crazy.
you cut out
my
their
God.
Flash. I didn't get what you said.
Yeah, I know we're lagging so bad. Anyways,
So good.
I do. We're still talking about this, or we're talking about?
I mean, also, I want to know too. What's this whole thing about the GM?
Oh well, yeah. With the GMs, that's just funny. Is what you're seeing similar with the NBA right now, with these contracts just getting thrown out left and right. You got some guys here that you wouldn't probably see getting these kind of contracts, but like Victor Hedman, his contract from 2 years ago or whatever, he got, I believe, like $7.5 million AAV, which is like per year, with the flat cap of $81.5 million this year. Teams were giving guys like Seth Jones, who's a really good defenseman, but he isn't worth $9.5 million for 8 years. You have Oilers. They gave up a third-round pick for a 38-year-old Duncan Keith, albeit they said it was the intangible that they were looking for. That's not an excuse to give up a third-rounder for a $5 million cap hit and a 38-year-old defenseman. A depth guy, like most people won't know his name, Cody Ceci, he got $3.25 million. That's a lot. And then you have a team like the Carolina Hurricanes. They have like an internal budget, if you want to say, where they had a really young goalie, which was finished second and rookie of the year voting, and he got traded away for a third-round pick because they didn't want to pay him $6 million over 2 years. But then they went and they signed two veteran goalies over 32 years old who have injury concerns for almost similar deals. So you got to wonder what's going on with the NHL and these GMs.
Wow. What were you saying, though?
Sorry, I'm talking a lot.
Salary
Just
cuts?
Trying to get all the info.
I was just saying shameful, man. That is just shameful. Actually, can I talk about something real quickly?
Go ahead.
I do.
Go.
I think the Blackhawks may have a serious chance at running for a Stanley Cup next year. With the pieces they get, especially Fleury.
Oh yeah, for
Fleury
sure.
And they made it. Fleury. Who else they traded for?
Well, you said Tyler.
Oh yeah,
have
for
a
sure. I didn't even
list.
talk about that. I didn't even talk about that. You brought up a great point there, Flash.
Well, you said Tyler Johnson,
Marc-Andre
right?
Fleury. He won the best goalie of the year. Yeah, they got Tyler Johnson, Seth Jones, Marc-Andre Fleury. But I wanted to touch base on what you said about Marc-Andre Fleury. I forgot to mention this one. Man won
That
Vezina
was
of the year.
disrespectful.
He's a 36-year-old goalie, albeit.
by Vegas, man. That was straight disrespectful.
Yeah, he was disrespected.
Vegas is not
They
going to
told
be
him-
where they are again.
Oh no,
for
teams
what
are
they
gonna be
traded him
looking
for,
at-
that is just
players are going to be looking
disrespectful.
at Vegas with a side eye. Yeah,
I will
But-
say,
Marc-Andre Fleury.
Vegas to me, they always seem to get to that point in the playoffs where they're close, but then it always falls apart, and they can't get past the conference.
It's
final.
not Fleury's
Mhm.
fault, dude.
Oh, it's not at
A
all.
goalie like Fleury, no, you do not. I mean, don't get me wrong. I think Vasilevskiy got snubbed out of the Vezina trophy, but still, it's just.
But that was
I mean,
a
that's
legacy
just still
for
disrespectful.
Fleury,
I
but
mean,
you don't trade the
Dude.
reigning Vezina Trophy winner as the best goalie for nothing. They literally did it as a cap dump. You didn't even give him. You didn't even have the decency to tell him or send a text message to him. The reigning Vezina Trophy found out he was traded over Twitter. social media. He wasn't even told. They didn't give him the
I
common
mean,
courtesy to
hey,
even tell him he was
You insulted him a little
traded.
bit.
Ownership
Go ahead.
ownership told him and his wife that he would retire the Vegas Golden Knight earlier this year. And then you do a business move, but don't even tell him. If it was a business move, fine, tell him. The problem is you didn't tell him at all.
Right. Yeah.
Maybe that's what Aaron Rodgers is afraid of. What the Packers that they would do to him like that.
Actually, that's probably a great point. I didn't even think about that. Yeah, probably.
Hey, but like I'm saying, I think I like the Blackhawks out of the West for the Stanley Cup next year. I still like Tampa Bay though.
Nah,
as long as they still got the trio.
It's gonna be interesting. It's all.
I think Tampa Bay can still make it again next year. What, as long as they have like Hedman and Kucherov and Stamkos and Vasilevsky, as long as they have that core, they're still going to keep making deep runs in the playoffs.
Yeah, I mean, look, they just locked up Braden Point for 8 years. He stayed in Tampa for 9 years.
And Braden Point too. I can't believe I forgot Braden Point. That's like the best player, if you ask me, on the offensive front. Only team I could see being a threat to Tampa Bay Lightning is probably the Islanders. Matthew Barzal is just a very skilled hockey player.
Oh yeah, the Islanders are loading
overall.
Up. I'm just waiting to see if Nathan McKinnon out in Colorado is going to finally break through, or he's going to have a situation like where Anthony Davis had, where he just wants to go and he wants to win. He's getting tired of just losing in the playoffs over and over. He wants to win, and he's too good to just be sitting there wasting the prime of his career.
Hey, what about that Edmonton Oilers dude? Do you think he's going to win out soon? We shall see.
That's for another day. Connor McDavid's for another day.
And we're now on to the third period of our Last Give podcast. This opening episode, it's been a good one so far. So we done reached the second half now. We into some good stuff. The Lakers they dropped a bombshell on the NBA here in the past 2 days, yesterday and today. So I mean,
we talking about Russell Westbrook first. All right, that's number one priority. We are talking about Russell Westbrook first, because sheesh, that trade had me. Come on now, come on.
The music
Let me talk.
It's you. Go off. Go ahead and go off.
All right, let me go over the trade first before I let you go over Flash. So the trade was to LA, Russell Westbrook 2 seconds. The seconds nobody really cares about right now. But to Washington, Russell Westbrook was worth Kyle Kuzma, Montrezl Harrell, Kentavious Caldwell-Pope. Most of those were cap fillers. They got the pick 22, but they flipped that for Aaron Holiday and Isaiah Todd. So Flash, what's your thoughts on that whole deal?
Go off.
Well, first of all, if you guys know me, you guys know I like Russell Westbrook. That's my favorite guy in the NBA. So let's start off there. First of all, I need to call out the Washington Wizards owner, as everyone has, because the Washington Wizards owner has the audacity to bash Russell Westbrook for requesting this trade. When Russell Westbrook has made his franchise relevant, but he decides to compare the NBA to the NHL, and that is not the way how you treat a guy like Russell Westbrook, all right? You did not draft the guy never owed you anything, and you have failed Russell Westbrook and Bradley Beal, if you want my honest opinion, all right? The only piece that Washington got this last season that I thought that was super useful was probably Gafford and Rui Hachimura. And Robin Lopez sometimes, all right? I actually like Robin Lopez. I was sad at first when Russell Westbrook got traded, but I mean, in the end, it's for the better. I mean, I think he's in a way better situation than the Los Angeles Lakers. They loaded up a lot. I mean, especially for an aging LeBron James. I mean, they grabbed out some solid pieces. They grabbed Carmelo Anthony. Yes, I know he's older, but still, he's a great, reliable shooter now. And the Lakers could definitely use him off the bench if he's willing to play off the bench, which I assume he would if he's 38. They also got Malik Monk. They got also Kendrick Nunn. They got
Dwight Bazemore, Ellington, Ariza.
Dwight Howard, Trevor Ariza.
Wait, the Lakers have Dwight Howard still? I thought he was in Philadelphia.
Yeah, No, he came
got
back.
traded
He
back.
came back as a free agent.
He came back.
No,
Oh,
he
he
didn't
came
get
back as
traded.
free
He
agent.
signed.
He signed. All right.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
wild.
Funny.
Dwight Howard came back.
Speaking of Russell Westbrook, there was a report that Russell Westbrook during the 2019 offseason, he asked Kawhi Leonard if he could join him in LA with the Clippers, and Kawhi chose Paul George. I know this was a big talking point on the entire ESPN and stuff, so I'm not gonna give too much time on it. But I was just saying, I don't see that being too much of a big deal. I know Paul George is probably a better fit, I guess, if you want to say Kawhi
I heard
Leonard,
some
because
sources
Kawhi is
saying that
that
it was false.
toned down form.
I saw some sources saying that
Yes,
was
I
actually
don't-
false. It was just that
That's
was not
false?
true whatsoever. Yeah, a bunch of reporters
Yeah, I
were coming out saying that was false. It was just ESPN trying to bash
I think that's
Westbrook
probably
again.
more Westbrook slander that they're trying to throw out there, because I know the media always tries to paint a narrative about Russell Westbrook. So, yeah.
I mean, hey,
Well, let's get into.
hey, you know
you
what?
guys wanna,
I want to know about the Steph Curry deal.
yes, that's what I was trying to say. Let's get into this free agency. Steph Curry just got a re-up, $215 million, making I think over $40 million again per season.
Years 200.
So he's staying Warriors for life.
Of course,
Yeah.
he's
got to be Warriors for life.
He's the cornerstone.
That is the franchise face. He will be the franchise face as long until he retires. He is like the Dwayne Wade of Golden State. All right? That man better retire as a Golden State Warrior.
He's not like he is.
Yeah, he is.
That man better
He's
retire
like
as a
Dirk.
Golden State Warriors, or
He's
else
Dirk.
we're going to have a serious talk
And
about the franchise.
mm-hmm.
Go off, Ace. Go
Yeah,
ahead.
we got like teams like the Miami Heat trying to separate themselves from the mid tier in the Eastern Conference. They got themselves Kyle Lowry. They got PJ Tucker. I think they just signed Markieff Morris today.
Yeah,
Then you got
I will say I did like the fact that they got Kyle Lowry. I like
Kyle
that.
Lowry and PJ Tuckers are probably my favorite signings
Yeah. Oh yeah.
for the Miami Heat. That's definitely going
but
to
you
be
got
fun in the South Beach.
Chicago. Chicago's made some moves too. They're trying to get themselves better, trying to make a push in that kind of get out of the bottom tier of the Eastern Conference. They got themselves Lonzo Ball, Alex Caruso, DeMar DeRozan, and they added Nikola Vucevic from the Magic trade deadline. So
Yeah.
Chicago's trying to make some noise too.
Hey, I like Chicago to finally be good.
My eyes on Billy Donovan on Chicago Bulls. I'll tell you that right now. It's Billy Donovan. Billy Donovan could he get a team to the playoffs? Yeah, but when he gets to the playoffs, that's where Billy Donovan struggles on the NBA level. We still don't win with Florida Gators, but on the NBA level, he struggles with rotations and stuff, and it's shown over time and time again. If you have looking back at the OKC teams with Russell Westbrook and with Chris Paul, he had made some terrible rotations, and that would cost him a lot. So but I do like the DeMar DeRozan signing. I like the Alex Caruso, and I definitely like Lonzo Ball. I think Lonzo Ball would be a great floor ceiling raiser for that Chicago Bulls team. I think Billy Donovan has a great point guard over there. So
Have they made any news with Zach LaVine? I know he's a free agent also. I know that's been flying under the radar. I think he's wanting his paid dues now, so got to keep an eye on the Zach LaVine situation with Chicago. But overall, I think they're having a good off season. The Knicks, if you guys want to talk about them, they signed Evan Fournier for a 4-year, $78 million team option at that last year.
I heard something.
I don't know if that's anything good with them. Y'all want to talk about that?
Evan Fournier, I'm not even going to waste my breath on Evan Fournier, all right?
Well,
but they have some other great
signings. I'm a big fan with
signings.
him on the Magic.
I will say this. I'm a believer that, and this is about Charlotte more so. I'm a believer that the Charlotte Hornets, they are still called that. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm a believer. I think, honestly, what Michael Jordan, the Charlotte Hornets, needs to do is they need to get LaMelo Ball some more help.
Well, I think the Hornets.
Charlotte had a few
recently.
decent signings, I say.
Really?
Ish Smith is a solid backup quarterback. Backup point guard.
Yeah, I was gonna say, whoa, slow down.
They had a good draft. I thought they were one of my draft winners. If you guys want to talk about that, the NBA draft was last Thursday, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah,
They
Phil-
added guys like Kai
Phil's on the
Jones, James Bouknight, or Boonat. I'm not sure how you pronounce his name. And they got a good player in the second round, I believe. I can't remember who, but I know they got Kai Jones, who's one of people were putting as a very high potential guy who could play the 5. Put next to PJ Washington, they got your front court to help LaMelo Ball. You still have Rozier, and you have James Bouknight to help give us additional scoring. They traded out the Devontae Graham, so I guess that's where Bouknight comes into.
I think
that
Hornets need to
production.
look at getting a center. To be honest,
Well, that's
they
where
need to
Kai
look
Jones
at-
comes in. They need a more NBA ready center, though.
yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Biombo's alright as a backup, but if you say Kai Jones is good, is good. Honestly, actually, back to the Lakers for a second. We all actually forgot that, and this is seriously overlooked. But Malik Monk, that's a big deal for the Lakers. Malik Monk is a big piece for that Lakers team, especially how young he is and everything.
40%.
Just something I should throw out
three.
there. Yeah, so that's another great signing. Who's your favorite draft picks?
honestly, I like the boy.
Jalen Suggs.
I like the boy from Oklahoma State that ended up going to Detroit. Detroit needs to get him some help.
Kate Cunningham.
You like Cade?
Yeah, I like Cade Cunningham.
I actually like the Rockets pick. Oh my god,
Jalen Green.
VJ, what you said? Jalen Green.
Jalen Green.
I like Jalen Green.
They got Jalen Green, Alperen Sengun, Garrison Aruba, and a guy from Arizona State. I'm drawing a blank here, but yeah. They had a
I
good
think
draft,
Jalen
I thought,
Green
too.
is my guy for this year's draft. If not, yeah, I actually like Jalen Green. I'm gonna stick with Jalen Green.
I'm just super. I'm a Magic fan. I'm super happy that Jalen Suggs fell to us. I didn't have no issues with Scottie
Jalen
Barnes.
Suggs
I
was a
just
steal. Was a steal for you guys.
Jalen, I think Jalen Suggs, he could play with Markelle Fultz in the starting court. They said Markelle's supposed to be back either by the start of the season or just right after. That's what management
So my
said.
question is for the Orlando Magic. Markelle's going to be starting point guard, or who's going to be
Jalen will be
shooting
shooting
guard?
guard.
Because you got Cole Anthony.
Markelle,
So
it's his job to lose. I think he earned that right because Orlando was 6-1 before he got hurt, and then they lost 13 out of the next 14. Markelle has earned the right to start at point guard, even with the injury. I think it will be him and Suggs starting in the backcourt. RJ Hampton, 6'6" now he's listed at. He grew 2 inches over the offseason. He's going to probably move to shooting guard, small forward position. We have combo wing
about
guard,
Cole Anthony?
wing. Cole Anthony, I think he's going to come in. He's going to bring you, like, I don't want to say like Lou Williams, but he's going to come and he's going to give you that spark that you need. He's big shots if you need in the closing lineup. You could play a 3-guard lineup because none of those guys are really that small. They're bigger, stockier guys who can play defense. I like what Orlando's doing as long as they don't pay Wendell Carter that 3 years, $70 million that's been going around rumored.
Right.
Do you think Terrence Ross is going to get traded or no?
Him or Gary Harris is getting traded before the off season is over because they need to open up, I think, a wing spot for RJ Hampton to slide into in that second spot. And Terrence
I'd like
Ross,
to
I
see,
think he's earned the right to go compete for a championship on a contender. He brings too much to just sit there.
Understandable. And that now brings us now, folks, to the fourth period of the Last Skip podcast. And in this period, we are now talking college sports. So, we got to start off with it. Oklahoma and Texas. Both going to
That's the one. I think you should start off with this one, peeps. I think you should start off. This is the topic you like to talk about SEC and Texas and Oklahoma.
HBCUs.
I think you should take off.
I mean, look, I will say this. I wasn't a fan of it and stuff at first, but I mean, I think, honestly, the way they're designing the West and the East to be set up, when this falls through, it's going to shape up to be pretty good. I think you need to move Missouri to the West and take Auburn and Alabama and move them to the East. That way you put Missouri with their old rivals from the Big 12 and Texas Texas A&M and Oklahoma, and then also too you get that Texas A&M rivalry back. You get the Texas A&M Oklahoma game back. So I mean, I think there's a lot of fun football games to be played in that, but there's also a lot of old rivalries that we're gonna miss with the whole like Texas against who is it out there? Texas against Texas Tech. Texas against Texas Tech. Texas against TCU. You had Oklahoma against Iowa State. That's really starting to shape up to heat up as a good rivalry game. Things like
Oklahoma and Oklahoma State. That was a great
Bedlam.
game.
What's going to happen with Bedlam is the thing that I'm worrying about. That's another game. I feel like that game's not going to be at the end of the season anymore. But I am glad to know, because I've been saying this for 2 years now. Texas and Texas A&M needs to go back on the schedule. And I think with Texas and Oklahoma coming to the SEC, in particular getting the SEC West, this is going to shape up. I'm excited. But also too, before we keep going with stuff, HBC football comes back this month, guys. And the season kicks off with Quinn Gray, who is the quarterback coach at Alcorn State. His guys are going to be playing against North Carolina Central in the MEAC SWAC Challenge in Atlanta. So I'm excited for that. It's a full slate. I know he's clapping. I know he's going to be watching it. It's a full slate, man. It's a full slate of HBCU football. It culminates on Labor Day, the night before Labor Day, September 5th. In the Orange Blossom Classic. Willie Simmons and Florida A&M go against Deion Sanders and Jackson State. There's a lot of bulletin board material out there that Shedeur
Yes, that's quality, man. Deion Sanders versus Florida A&M.
It is. It really is.
It's quality, man. I mean, we get to see what they're made of. Again, it's probably one of the best.
Of course.
In that whole division.
I mean, it's. I will say I've never felt the same hype that Florida State and Alabama had until now, and I can't wait to get down there for that. But I digress. We gotta keep the show rolling and stuff. We got to talk about Florida and UCF. So y'all have at it. Oh, y'all start with that.
Hang on. Let me get my take about the big Texas and OU. That's some great. That's going to be some great stuff coming into SEC. I do agree with Jay Peeps. They do need to move Auburn and Alabama to the SEC East, because the SEC East, as we know, is pretty weak. There's only Florida and Georgia. If you add in Alabama and Auburn, it changes the whole dynamic of the entire scene of the SEC, let alone college football. I mean, Florida is actually going to have some real challenges to go through, and we will actually see what Dan Mullins is actually made of. And with Texas and Oklahoma, that's going to be great, especially seeing them actually going back against Texas A&M and stuff. And then LSU might actually have a easier time actually going back and making some noise. But Oklahoma is not a walkthrough, ladies and gents.
Ooh. I wouldn't say LSU is going to have an easy time, but
it's going to be easier for them.
LSU, I knew a bunch of LSU fans, and they were so happy when they announced that Oklahoma and Texas were coming to the SEC, because they knew that meant Alabama was going to the Eastern Division. So they were so happy when they heard they didn't have to play Alabama as much.
Exactly. My mentality, dude. I already told you.
But I mean, Oklahoma itself, Wink and Rowley, it's not a slouch either. But
they're not a slouch.
I want to see how Wink and Rowley adjusts his coaching for the SEC's more defensive oriented.
Oh, and remember this, ladies and gentlemen. Now that they're moving to the SEC, they're going to be getting some higher quality dudes, especially on the defensive end and stuff.
Oklahoma was already one of those teams that was already getting high quality guys, and I honestly will say this too. And I kind of got to quote Jimbo Fisher when he says this. I mean, I know Jimbo came out and said, we're gonna probably challenge Alabama. Well, I know he didn't say it like that. I'm just keeping it PG, but I will. the one thing that Jimbo did say in regards to Texas and Oklahoma coming over is, when you come to this league, you better be careful what you wish for. I know Jimbo can.
He ain't wrong. He ain't wrong, man. I mean,
he's not.
Jimbo Fisher is gonna put these guys on notice. I mean, Jimbo Fisher was not far off from making the college football playoffs this last year.
He wasn't. But
he's gonna be making noise.
But see, you know, Jimbo had to take. I mean, in the SEC, I mean, I don't really know if you can call it taking your licks and stuff. But I mean, when Alabama's the standard, I guess he really did kind of take his licks. So I guess that's what he means. But my God, you know, you look at it, you feel bad for teams like Tennessee and Kentucky who haven't won the SEC or haven't won the SEC in a long time, and now you bring Alabama over to the fold and Auburn over to the fold. I mean, Auburn football is going to be more consistently, but
Auburn has always been that dark horse team in the SEC. They always been, and they always randomly show up every other year. That's Auburn.
They always have.
But don't think away. Bo Nix is coming to his third season or second season?
Bo Nix is coming back for his third season, but I will also say this: Bo Nix needs to, you know,
he needs to elevate himself.
Yes, Bo Nix needs to play better. He needs to get more consistency in his game into the season. Personally, that's what
the amount of hype Bo Nix has gotten just because of his daddy coming into Auburn. I mean, hey, what's his? Oh my God, I forgot his name. The other quarterback from Barton Trail didn't even get the job because Bo Nix's daddy had the hype for Bo Nix. That's really what it was.
It happens.
So I mean,
but, you know, tell y'all. We got to talk about this whole Florida UCF thing, though, guys.
Yes,
that's gonna be fun.
That's long awaited, honestly. I mean, a lot of people refer back to 2006. I know y'all might not remember it, but that was the year Florida won their second national title with Chris Leak and those guys. But you know, they played UCF that year and they blew them out. I'll say that UCF is an entirely different football program now.
Oh, it is. I mean, you seen it already up.
They got a lazy river for the athletes.
I was about to say that.
Yeah, I mean, you're good. But yeah, I mean, you know, 2024 is not that far away, and UCF as a program, they're gonna probably be better, if not be almost where they are now. So I mean, Florida better come to play. But I know for a fact too, you know, Florida's been waiting on this for a while. UCF, they feel like they say they belong. Depending on who you talk to, they are part of the Big Four in the state of Florida, and you know they're gonna come into Gainesville with all they got. It's a 2-for-1. It's not what a lot of UCF fans wanted, but it's what you got to deal with. You're playing an SEC team, and we'll see what happens from there. But, you know, I turn it to y'all. What do y'all got from it?
I mean, I think UCF better run in there like they mean it inside of Gainesville and in that stadium, man. Because
I think they will.
Because they feel very disrespected that they got a 3-for-1 series.
2-for-1.
Right?
2-for-1.
2-for-1. I mean, so if it feels unfair to them. They think they should get like a 1-for-1 or something like that.
2-for-2. They wanted a 2-for-2.
They wanted 2-for-2.
Yeah.
I mean, it's still. I mean, they feel very disrespected. So I mean, a lot of pressure on UCF going into Gainesville and showing them that yes, they belong on the same field as Florida. They gotta prove that they can beat them. They gotta prove that a lot for the program.
Honestly, I'm not expecting, and I know Twitter UCF Mafia is gonna probably hang me for this, but I'm gonna turn on this game and I'm gonna watch it, and I'm not expecting UCF to win the same way I didn't expect UCF to beat Baylor in the Fiesta Bowl, same way I didn't expect UCF to beat Auburn in the Chick-fil-A Bowl, but it wouldn't surprise me if they did go in there and get it done. I can tell you now, I wouldn't want to be on that interstate coming back to Tampa, going up north to Tallahassee, coming out of Gainesville if Florida loses that game, because we know when Florida loses, Gator fans don't know how to drive on the interstate.
Oh,
that's another.
That'll be a mess. You don't want to be on 75.
Exactly. You don't want to be on
When that
75
happens.
when Florida loses. For those of you that are not from the state of Florida, you just don't.
You do not want to be there.
I mean,
Gators fans are very passionate, so if they lose to a team like UCF, you know they're gonna lose their shit.
yeah, basically.
I mean, like losing to UCF or Florida is like, I don't know,
like when
like
they,
losing to FIU in football.
like when they
Let's put it that way.
like when they lost to
Say that again.
like when they lost to Georgia
Say
Southern and they blocked each other. The two lines. Yeah. It's,
Oh my gosh.
it's literally just like that. But I mean, you know, we'll see. Like I said, I'm not expecting UCF to win, but it wouldn't surprise me if they did win. And I know
UCF needs to steal at least one game in that entire
Oh,
I
season.
yes.
think they will.
they will. I think they
They
can
will.
kill at least one game.
They have to, all right, or else it's a letdown. But hey, you know what? We're like how Florida's fans are like. I mean, you know what? I cannot wait for FSU to become relevant under Mike Norvell and
Yeah.
take care of Florida. You know what? Go Noles.
Okay, talk your noise. But folks, we've reached
Go Noles, man.
again, you know, I want to thank Ace and I want to thank Flash for making their debut here on the Last Give podcast. They did pretty good for their first night. They got more episodes lined up for y'all this season and stuff. You know, both of y'all did a good job tonight, guys. I'm proud of y'all. I really am.
Thank you.
This went really well. Just know I will not be here in the middle every night because I have another prior engagement to take care of and stuff. But I'll be in the background, you know, pulling the strings and calling the shots for these guys, helping them out and stuff. But you know, hey, look, I give the floor to y'all here in this last minute. Y'all got anything before we get out? Also, make sure y'all follow all these social media platforms and stuff for the latest happenings.
Follow us, ladies and gentlemen. We got big things coming out
Be a
out of the
friend, tell a
gates.
friend.
All right?
Yes. I want all y'all to go tell a friend, and
Give
then
us-
your
give
friend
us-
go tell that friend, and then your friend go tell that friend.
Literally.
Trying to grow here. We're trying to grow. We're trying to build something up.
Exactly. We got
Hopefully we get some amazing guests coming on this show. If you're interested, hit us up. Follow, as we all said. Give us some criticism, all right? We could use some constructive criticism because we're just new to this, all right? So, and we're just trying to have fun in the end, but some good criticism could work for all of us.
Yeah, we can grow from it.
I was gonna say, y'all. Hey, look, we got SWAC fans on here following us and stuff like that. I don't know if you want that kind of criticism. You better be careful what you ask for. But y'all stay safe.
Thanks for letting us know, peeps.